The narcissist wants you trapped with them. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So by now you know, or you're learning, that what the narcissist wants to do is to keep you trapped where they've been living or existing for quite a long period of time. It is the narcissistic fog. It is bizarro world. It is abusive. It is when you lose your sense of self. It's when you lose your identity. It's when you become a shell of yourself. It's when the narcissist tries to fill their bottomless pit, their void, with you and what is known as supply. You may say, well, what is supply, Andrew? Supply is anything from a pet to you being hung up on, to you communicating with somebody, to you giving them a ride or putting a roof over their head or raising their kids or their stepkids, to you marrying them, to you tolerating them humming or tapping on the glass when you're sitting right next to them at your 9-to-5 job. Supply is anything that can get under your skin, or it's anything they can use to elevate themselves while they're punishing you. And this is why you're realizing that you are stronger than you know, and that the narcissist targeted you. They had targeted not only you, but many people before they met you, and they're targeting other people right now. And again, the narcissist does know what they're doing. They want to trade places with people. So imagine, if you will, you have two people. One is a loving, kind, stable, healthy person, which is you, and you have another person who is a person who's trying to steal everything from that person, although they are acting like they care about the person, which was you. So you have two people in a relationship. One is trying to take, and the other is giving to a fault. They are an open book. They are naive. They are vulnerable. They have a high level of empathy, and they are committed. Again, that's what you were. The other person, who turns out to be the toxic narcissist, or maybe even worse, they were like a wolf in sheep's clothing, trying to get as close to you as possible, trying to assimilate themselves with you. This is why they picked up your lexicon. They picked up your habits. They picked up the way, what you did good. They picked up things that you liked, your interests and your hobbies. And what they want, excuse me, what they wanted to do, thank you for saying bless you. What they wanted to do was to have you fall for them. Now, not necessarily fall in love with them, but they wanted you to think that you could elevate them, that you could help them, that you could teach them or guide them or be a support system for them. And when you did that, you were where what I call the narcissistic fog. Now you were committed to a person who was trying to take everything out from underneath you. Now you were trying to fix an unfixable relationship. Now you were trying to slow down the toxicity, even though you didn't know it was toxic. And this is when your health took a hit. This is when you were being sleep deprived. This is when you were being hung up on. This is when you were being ignored. This is when you were being disrespected. And this is when you were working for that person. Now, when I say working for the person, meaning the narcissist, what I mean is think of all the things you did for them. You were the person who would cook, who would clean, who would take the kids to school, who would pay for tuition, who would plan and pay for vacations, who would pick them up from work, who would give them a ride, who would buy them a car, who maybe even married them, who started a business with them or showed them how to run their business or taught them how to appear a certain way with their platform or with their side hustle, whatever it was. The narcissist took anything of value from you, and they left you absolutely zero in return. So as I began to share with you before I sneezed, and again, thank you for saying bless you, what the narcissist wanted to do was to essentially steal your identity and steal everything out from underneath you. Your belief in humanity, your health, your time, your purpose, your trajectory of your life, your money, your hobbies, and so much more. And they did their best to do that, to accomplish it. Now, did they accomplish it fully? No, they didn't. And the reason why they didn't is because you're here, you're getting your cup full, you're in the community, you're healing or you've healed, and you realize that the narcissist wanted you trapped where they exist. Now, where they exist is a very dark space. It's pitch black. It's a low vibrational state. It's a state of confusion. It's a state of anxiety. It's a state of insecurity. It's a state of them believing that someone eventually will figure out who they are. It's a believing of them having dislike for themselves, but not only themselves, but for everybody else. This is how the narcissist lives. They live in a state of lack, L-A-C-K. They don't live in a state of abundance, which is why no matter what you did, it would never be enough for the narcissist. I've shared this in many videos over the years. You could have owned your own time zone, your own city, town, state, country. You could have had all the money in the world, your own ethos or galaxy. It wouldn't be enough, because once the narcissist had access to those things via you, then they would punish you for being you, have you doubt yourself, and they would say, oh, someone else has the same thing. Actually, they're much younger than you, or they have more than you do. This is why the narcissist abuses people. This is why they target people. This is why they want to keep people trapped where they exist. Now, when you were in the narcissistic relationship, you put your life on hold. You were doing everything you could to help the person you're considering to get through a period of their life. And if you fell in love with a narcissist, and you may have, or you married them and you may have, well, you were committed and you thought that your wedding vows meant something to them. They didn't. All the wedding vows were to the narcissist was a license to abuse you. It was to blend in with society, making it appear that they actually did love you, they did care about you, they could be in a relationship, a marriage if you would, they could procreate and have kids. Well, what are the kids to the narcissist? What the narcissist wants to do is counter-parent. They don't want to co-parent. They want to create little mini-me's, the next generation of toxicity, because the narcissist doesn't want anybody to ever do better than they are or than they have. They're jealous of their own kids, they're jealous of their stepkids, they're jealous of their spouses, they're jealous of their friends, they're jealous of their colleagues, coworkers, parents, and everybody else. The narcissist always believes people are out to get them. The narcissist is always trying to plot and plan 1, 2, 3, 10 steps ahead. The narcissist is always moving multiple pieces on that chessboard of abuse. You were one of the chess pieces. You may have thought that you were in a loving, stable, healthy, two-way committed relationship. Well, that's how you viewed the relationship. It's not what the narcissist saw. They saw in you what I call the beautiful, bright, shining light, but they didn't use that expression. They saw a person who was committed, who was what they call the new supply, who would continue to work for them and do things for them, and who would ignore their instincts, ignore their intuition, not pay attention to red flags, and tolerate that relationship until you couldn't tolerate it any longer, or until you became so beaten down that the narcissist discarded you. This is what happens. That's why the narcissist wanted to keep you trapped with them. You see, there's an expression in English, it's something like this: misery loves company, something like that. I don't use that expression, but I just said it as an example. The narcissist knows they're hollow. They know they're shallow. They know they're cowards, and they know that they're bullies. And if they can get someone else believing that they are better than that person, or that the narcissist is so full of knowledge, and they're so intelligent, or they're so beautiful, or they're so connected, or they have all the social media posts and everything's lined up perfectly, well, what they're doing there is they're selling an illusion. They're selling a bill of goods. They're selling future faking. They're selling a reality to you, which isn't reality. They're selling nothing but a dream or a fantasy or what will never take place. But you didn't know that back then because you were not taught this. So you didn't know what narcissism was, and you didn't realize that toxicity has two legs and it walks and talks just like you do. Now you're learning that, you're understanding more about not only narcissism, humanity, mindset, and empathy, but you're learning about yourself. You see, this is the relationship that tested you to your core. This is the relationship that almost took you down for the count, but it didn't. This is the relationship that has taken so many people down for the count that you will never even know about. And before the internet and the smartphone, the narcissist had free reign all over this planet because they could come and go, they could jet set, they could triangulate people, they could cheat on people, lie, steal, cheat, pillage. And the systems, meaning the legal systems, the court systems, the community, they didn't know what was going on except for a select few, and those people were toxic themselves, so they tried to keep the lid on this thing as long as they could. Well, then the smartphone came out and the interwebs came out, and then people like myself entered a narcissistic relationship, were discarded, figured it out rather quickly. For me, it was a little more than 3 weeks, and around the 3-week period, and when I did, I never looked back, which is why I create videos each and every day to pay it forward, to help you out, even though you may not even know that you need help. You see, at one point, we all were what is known as the new supply. We are not supply. We are beautiful, bright, shining lights. And there's an owl in the distance. That's beautiful. We are beautiful, bright, shining lights. And the narcissists saw this within us. They saw our commitment, our empathy, how we walked, how we used our words, our educational level, how we carried ourselves, and how we had a light and vibrant energy about us. They wanted to take that from us, steal everything from us, which I already shared what the things were. They were tangible things and non-tangible things. They wanted to inject their toxicity into us. They wanted us blaming ourselves. They wanted to use, abuse, manipulate, and discard us. And then they did not want to give us closure. Closure is a huge thing on the healing path. You will never get closure from the narcissist. You will only get closure from yourself. That is for a separate video. But when the narcissist took everything they could from you and then dumped all their toxicity into you, and you didn't have the wisdom, You were vulnerable, you were reeling, you were confused, you were probably still caught up in the trauma bond, definitely the devaluation stage, and you were certainly in the narcissistic fog, but you didn't know where you were, you didn't know how you got there, and you definitely didn't know how to get out. Then something pivotal happened within you. You most likely found one of my videos, and here you are getting your cup full. Now you're understanding that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And yes, the narcissist wanted to keep you trapped where they exist. And the truth is that they did a very good job of that until when? That's right, until they couldn't do it any longer. And when they couldn't do it any longer, that is most likely not the first time you got the wisdom, but it's most likely when you began to remove access from them to you. You began to close the avenues of communication that once were available and vibrant and flowing from them to you. You began to close those down, which includes social media, it includes cell phones, it includes email, it includes perhaps relocating, getting a new phone number, it includes removing flying monkeys and so many other people. But when you began to work on yourself as you were healing and understanding what toxicity is, the narcissist began to get smaller. As they got smaller, you got stronger. As you got stronger, they got weaker. As they got weaker, you weren't trapped like you were before. Remember early days when you were healing or when you were trying to figure out what narcissism was. You were trapped. You couldn't sleep properly. You weren't eating properly. Your support system had blown up. You didn't know what was going on and you couldn't get your bearings. This is not a good place to be. I was there for quite a long period of time. As you begin to focus on yourself and you realize the narcissist did all of these things intentionally, deliberately, and on purpose to destroy you, your relationships, your mindset, your life, your purpose, and everything about you. When you realize that, and that's a very big pill to swallow, but when you do, then you say, oh my goodness, this was not an accident, this was deliberate. They knew what they were doing. They entered my life, they pillaged my relationships, they stole my health, my time, my money, my 401k, my future, maybe my house, everything and more. And then they just acted like it never even happened, or they blamed me. Well, when you wrap your head around that, again, that's a very, very big pill to swallow. But I did it. If I did it, you can do it. My hope is you've already done it. But if you haven't done it yet, you will. When you wrap your head around that, then you realize that toxicity looks just like you, talks just like you, and it will manipulate any person who doesn't have the wisdom. There are three versions of you. The first version of you is who you were before you met the narcissist, naive, vulnerable, probably saw the world you probably thought everyone thought the way you thought. The second version of you is when you were the human piñata, the walking apology, the unpaid helper, the indentured servant, the walking ATM, and more. And that's when you're trapped in the narcissistic fog where they wanted you trapped. And the third version of you is the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. That is what I call rarefied air. That's where I am, and my hope is that's either where you are or where you will be in the near future. That's a person who has healed, who has been in the cycle, who processed so many things, who has journaled, meditated, seen a therapist who knows what they're talking about, healed childhood wounds, maintained a small footprint, blocked the narcissist, deleted them, removed them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them, and began to stay in that cocoon of boundaries as long as necessary. What is the cocoon of boundaries, you may ask? Well, that is a place, it's a term I coined years ago. It's a place where you don't necessarily want to be, but you have to be. And it's when you are healing. It's when you're doing your entry-level education on narcissism, on abuse, on empathy, and toxicity, and humanity. This is the beginning of your journey. I was there for quite a long period of time. And as you're in that cocoon of boundaries, you're understanding that you were targeted, that they are a narcissist, that they are toxic, that they're doing it to other people, that all these people you thought were your friends, they were nothing but enablers, flying monkeys, and people drinking the Kool-Aid that the narcissist was pouring, and that you are on an island by yourself in an ocean of abuse. And you need to get off that island, out of the ocean of abuse, to what I call the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. That's where doors of abundance will be kicked wide open for you, doors of possibility will be presented to you, and doors of opportunity or possibility will be right at your doorstep. To get there, though, you're going to have to go through the murky waters. You're going to have to learn what gaslighting is, what stonewalling is, what the silent treatment is, and more and more. You're also going to have to practice radical acceptance and wrap your head around the fact that you were targeted and that the narcissist wanted you trapped where they exist. Think about this for a quick moment. In the narcissist's mind, it is not unicorns and butterflies and snickerdoodles and Twinkies. It is a maze of horror. It is a labyrinth of toxicity. It is a bottomless pit that can never be filled for any length of time. It is always looking over their shoulder. It is always trying to figure out who to lie to next, who to drive a wedge between. It's trying to figure out how to game the legal system, how to blow up the divorce, how to steal more and more gold or crypto, and how to drag out all the proceeds and all the proceedings, I should say. This is what the narcissist thinks. Don't think for a minute that the narcissist has it all together. They don't. They never have and they never will. Without a fuel source, the narcissist is worthless. Remember in The Wizard of Oz at the very end, when Dorothy dumped the bucket of water on the Wicked Witch of the West, and the Wicked Witch of the West said, I'm melting, and what happened? Well, there was nothing there. Well, there's your narcissist right there. There's nothing to them. When you finally process what they did, how they did it, and that you want nothing to do with it, and you go no contact, you're in a great spot. But to get to where you're going, you have to go through the murky waters, and you have to process and understand toxicity. Again, you will speak a different language if you haven't already, language that I have mastered, unfortunately, but I had to go through the cycle to acquire it, and that's what you're doing. So each and every day you need to focus on yourself and understand that the narcissist wanted you trapped where they exist. You broke out. The relationship ended. It ended when it was supposed to end. Probably not at your hands, probably at the hands of the toxic person, but this is what they do. But you are one of the few people. You figured it out, and that's why you're healing, and that's why you are stronger than you know. Maintain your boundaries, maintain no contact, stop giving toxicity chances, and understand that you are stronger than you know, and that your future is beautiful and bright, and that you are the beautiful, bright, shining light. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm closing this a little bit early because it's getting really dark in these Carolina woods. I mean, really dark. And I will pick up a day video tomorrow. I hope you're all doing great. Understand something. The narcissist did what they did deliberately, intentionally. They had a plan. They executed it. They knew when they were going to end that relationship. They knew they would try their best to steal everything out from underneath you, and that they were hoping that you would never figure it out and you wouldn't put yourself back together. You have figured it out. You are putting yourself back together. The narcissist knows what they did, and they know that inside of them there is that bottomless pit, that huge void that can never be filled. So tonight when you go to bed, you should say to yourself, oh my goodness, I'm out. I have work to do. I'm healing. I'm understanding, but I'm not in that cycle any longer. And I wouldn't want to be in that tiny little pea brain of the narcissist even for 1 second, because all it is chaos, confusion, manipulation, mind games, lying, cheating, stealing. The narcissist can't sit still. The narcissist doesn't want to go to sleep at night. The narcissist wants to continue to run around all over the globe, distracting themselves, trying to keep more and more people trapped in that trauma bond, in that narcissistic fog, and on that low vibrational state where they exist. You are no longer there. Stay out. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. It's getting dark.